Title: The Carp of Chengdu Market. In the western city of Chengdu, where the Jin River moves slowly past tea houses and spice stalls, lived a young trader named Li Wei. His family had sold dried herbs for 3 generations at Qingcheng Market, not far from the old Qingcheng Temple. Li Wei, however, had grown up in a new world: smartphones, live streams, delivery apps. To him, a simple herb stall felt too small for his dreams. He wanted to be big, bigger than any trader his family had ever known. One summer, after yet another confusing month of trying everything and earning very little, his grandfather Li Shun took him for a walk along the Jin River. "Your problem," the old man said, "is not that you lack ideas. It is that you lack a single direction. Let me tell you a story from Qingcheng Mountain." And as the evening light turned gold on the water, Li Shun told a story about animals, mountains, rivers, and focus. Part 1: The Monkey of Many Branches. Far above Chengdu, on Qingcheng Mountain, there lived a young golden snub-nosed monkey named Xiaoho. He was clever, quick, and endlessly curious. Xiaoho wanted to be known as the greatest animal in the whole mountain forest. When he saw birds, he tried to fly by leaping from the highest branches. When he saw fish, he spent hours splashing in the river, trying to swim as swiftly as them. When he watched goats climbing, he tried climbing steep rock faces. For a few days at a time, he would succeed a little. Then he would get distracted by some new skill and abandon the last one. Every morning, he would shout from a treetop, "Watch me. Today I will learn something new and become the best at it." The forest animals laughed. On the other side of the mountain, an old panda named Guoshan watched him. Guoshan was famous for one thing only. He knew every patch of bamboo on that side of the mountain, which stalks were sweetest, which slopes stayed green even in drought. He moved slowly, quietly, and never announced anything. One day, Xiaoho swung past Guoshan and called out, "Old bear, aren't you bored, chewing bamboo all your life? Look at me. I'm learning everything, flying like birds, swimming like fish, climbing like goats. I'll soon be the greatest of all." Guoshan looked up, bits of bamboo still in his mouth. "Little one," he said calmly, "how many days have you spent on flying?" 3. On swimming. 4. On climbing rock like the goats? Maybe 5. Guoshan nodded. "I have spent 30 years learning only bamboo and slopes. When snow comes, we will see whose knowledge feeds them, and whose curiosity only makes noise in the trees." Xiaoho chattered and swung away. He had no patience for such a slow answer. Part 2: The Carp that Watched the River. In a deep pool fed by the streams from Qingcheng Mountain, there lived a carp named Jinyu, golden fish. Jinyu was not born strong. As a small fry, he was often pushed aside by bigger fish when feeding. But he was patient and observant. He noticed something. Every year during the Dragon Boat Festival, when people from Dujianjian came to the river to race their boats, they threw rice dumplings into the water as offerings. The other fish rushed everywhere when boats approached, chasing whatever scraps they saw. They often got hurt by paddles or nets. Jinyu did something different. For one whole year, he watched the boats. He learned how the sunlight fell on the water when the boats began to race, where the shadows of the bridges touched the river, how the current swirled in certain corners, where the rice dumplings tended to land and sink. The other fish mocked him. "Why do you stay in that one corner all day, Jinyu? The river is so big. Look how much there is to chase." Jinyu only flicked his tail. "I am learning the path of food," he said. "The river is big, but food falls in patterns. If I know the pattern, I do not need to chase everything." When the next Dragon Boat Festival came, the race began. The crowds cheered, drums pounded, paddles cut the water. All the fish darted wildly through the river, chasing the first shadows of falling rice. Over and over, they were pushed back by waves, startled by splashes, confused by boats passing overhead. Jinyu did nothing. He stayed in his chosen corner, just beneath a spot where a stone ledge met a swirling current. He waited, eyes up, body still. Soon the offerings began. Rice dumplings wrapped in leaves hit the water, sank, and were swept along. Many passed out of reach of the frantic fish. But in Jinyu's corner, the current slowed just enough that the dumplings paused before turning again. Jinyu opened his mouth and ate. All afternoon it continued, where other fish burned their strength chasing every falling shape. Jinyu, who had focused on one pattern in one corner, grew strong and fat from the steady feast, drifting almost straight into his mouth. Part 3. The Sparrow of 10 Seeds. Lower down, near a terraced hillside outside the village of Honko, lived a flock of sparrows. Among them was a young male named Xiao Ke, who had quick wings and a big appetite. One morning, the farmers of Honko went out to sow rice in the paddies. Seeds were scattered generously, the sky filled with sparrows. Xiao Ke's eyes widened. So many seeds. If I move quickly, I can carry 10 at once. He dove to the muddy field, seized 3 seeds in his beak, then saw more further away and tried to pick those too. Each time he grabbed a new one. One of the old ones slipped from his beak and fell back into the water. Flustered, he tried again and again, seed after seed dropping behind him. An older sparrow named Nai, grandmother, landed beside him with just one fat seed in her beak. Calmly, she flew to the nearby stone wall, ate it, and returned for another single seed. By the time Xiao Ke had managed to carry and eat 3 seeds in total, exhausted and muddy, Nai had eaten 20. Her secret was not speed. It was focus. Little one, she chirped. 2 seeds carried well fill your belly. 10 seeds carried badly, just drown in the mud. Xiao Ke looked at the paddy field. It was filled with sunken seeds he had dropped, now useless to him. Part 4. Zhang Min and the Chengdu shop. Li Shun paused in his story and glanced at his grandson. Do you see yourself yet, Wei? Li Wei sighed. He had started with herbs, like his father and grandfather, but then he had added packaged snacks, electronics accessories, phone top-up services, delivery of bubble tea on the side, a small shelf of beauty masks because everyone is doing it. His stall at Qingcheng Market looked full, noisy, colorful, like Xiaoho's branches. But his books told a different story. Tiny profits, constant confusion, endless fatigue. Li Shun continued. In Chengdu itself, not far from where they walked, there was a businesswoman named Zhang Min. Min owned a tiny shop near Quanjai Alley. Years ago, she had started selling all kinds of things to tourists: panda dolls, silk fans, cheap jewelry, tea, phone cases, keychains, postcards. Tourist seasons were wild, off-seasons were painful. Some years she barely broke even. One rainy afternoon, as she was rearranging yet another shelf of random goods, an old calligrapher named Master Jin came to her stall. He watched her shuffle items for a while and then smiled. Your shop reminds me of a monkey I knew on Qingcheng Mountain, he said. He told her the same story of Xiao Ho, Washan, Jinyu, and Xiao Quebec. You are like the monkey and the young sparrow, Master Chen said gently. Many branches, many seeds, no deep roots. Zhang Min frowned. But if I remove items, won't I lose sales? Master Chen picked up one of her tea tins. Which of these gives you the best margin? Which do people remember you for? Min hesitated. Actually, the oolong tea from my uncle in Mautame. People sometimes come back for it, even weeks later. They say, I bought good tea here last time. Master Chen nodded. Then that is your river. That is your bamboo. That is your single seed. Study it for a year. Become the crocodile. Become the panda. Become the old sparrow. The next day, Zhang Min did something that made other stall owners laugh. She cleared out half of her random goods. She reduced her shelves to a carefully chosen range of oolong, green, and jasmine teas from Mautame. A few beautiful, sturdy teapots from a potter in Leshan. Simple, clean signage. A Mayleaf house, specialty teas. Her stall looked narrower, quieter. Some tourists passed by, disappointed they couldn't find cheap panda dolls. But a strange thing began to happen. People who wanted good tea stopped, asked questions, smelled leaves, sat for tastings. They spent more per purchase. They came back weeks later with friends. Within 3 years, Min's little focused tea stall had become a well-known brand among tea lovers in Chengdu. She started a small online shop, shipping her selected teas across Sichuan. She knew tea leaves like Jane knew currants. She knew slopes and harvest times like Washan knew bamboo. Her old neighbors, still selling everything and nothing in particular, complained about luck and connections. But Min knew it was something far simpler: focus. Part 5. The Flood on Qingcheng Mountain. Back on Qingcheng Mountain, the dry months came. Rains held off. Streams thinned. Leaves grew brittle. Xiao Ho, the monkey, felt it first. In normal times, he could jump from tree to tree, always finding something. A little fruit here, a stray insect there, a bird's egg if he was lucky. Now the easy food vanished. The skills he'd practiced, half flying, half swimming, half climbing, did not help him very much. He knew a little about many things, but not enough to feed himself confidently in hard times. He watched Guishan, the panda, who moved calmly from one known patch of bamboo to another. Even in this dry season, Guishan always seemed to find just enough green stalks bending under the weight of their own juices. How? Xiao Ho finally cried, half hungry, half resentful. The mountain is drying, yet you still eat well. Guishan wiped his mouth. I have walked the same paths for 30 years, he said. I have watched which bamboo survives long droughts, which grows slowly but steadily. While you were chasing birds and fish, I was counting leaves. As if in answer, thunder rolled in the distance. That night, a violent storm hit Qingcheng. Lightning flashed behind the peaks. For 2 days, the rains came hard and relentless until the streams overflowed. The deep pool where Jinyu waded each year swelled. Logs, branches, and debris rushed down. Fish panicked. They were tossed from corner to corner, slammed into rocks, pulled into new eddies. Jinyu felt fear. His corner, once calm, was now wild. But he remembered the currents. He had studied them for years. He knew that when water rose this high, a new countercurrent formed beneath a certain overhanging rock. He swam there, pushed hard once, and then let the water carry him into a sheltered pocket. There, food floated in without him fighting for it. He closed his mouth on passing insects and small plants, breathing steadily. Because you knew one thing deeply, Li Shun said to Li Wei. You could survive one big change. Li Wei looked at the Jin River beside them and imagined flood time. Brown rage, broken branches, garbage swirling, merchants panicking. He thought of his own patch, his family's herbs, and realized he had never really studied them the way Jinyu studied currants or Guishan studied bamboo. He had only treated them as one product among many. Part 6. Li Wei becomes the carp. Soon after that walk, Li Wei made a decision. He went back to the family stall at Qingyang Market. The shelves were cluttered with everything. Herbs, yes, but also snacks, chargers, cheap plastic toys, skincare samples. It looked lively. It felt wrong. That evening, he sat with his parents, Li Peng and Mei Lin. Baba Mama, he said, we are Xiao Ho. We are the monkey of many branches. That is why we are always tired and never rich. His father laughed uneasily. Business is hard, son. We must adapt. People want many things. Li Wei shook his head. We have adapted by copying everyone and being known for nothing. Tell me, why do old customers come back? Mei Lin thought for a moment. Sometimes, when they are sick, they say, your herbs helped me last time. They ask for my mother's old throat mixture. They ask for your grandfather's stomach tea. There it was, their river, their bamboo, their single seed. Over the next 2 months, Li Wei did something that scared him. He removed almost everything that was not herbs or closely related products. He took down the posters for phone top-ups and bubble tea. He cleared the snack shelf. He packed away the beauty masks. In their place, he created clear jars of dried herbs, each labeled in simple Chinese and English. A small booklet, Herbal Remedies of the Jin River Family, with basic explanations of their most trusted mixtures. A tasting station for free herbal teas, digestion, sleep, energy. A new sign, Li Family Herbs, since Li Shun's father. Other stall owners whispered, he's crazy, giving up all those small profits. Customers want convenience, not old herbs. The first week was scary. Foot traffic was lower. Some people who used to buy snacks never stopped. But something else began to happen. The people who did come came with clear problems. Auntie May, my throat is always dry. Do you have something? Uncle Lee, the hospital medicine makes me weak. Any herb tea to help? Wei, Can you make again that mixture you gave my grandmother last winter? Li Wei did not know all the answers, so he started to learn. He followed his grandfather to herb markets in Pai County. He visited an old practitioner near Wenshu Monastery, asking questions until the man laughed and called him the little carp. He read about active compounds and dosage. Every day, he wrote one page of notes in a plain notebook. Like Jin Yu, he studied one corner of a big river until the currents began to make sense. Part 7. Lessons from Chengdu, the mountain, and the river. 2 years later, a winter of heavy smog and coughs came to Chengdu. People all over the city complained of sore throats, headaches, and shallow breathing. Pharmacies were crowded. At Qingcheng Market, something unexpected happened. Word spread that Li family herbs had a gentle, effective throat tea that soothed without harsh side effects. A blogger in Chengdu wrote about it. A university student made a short video about the old herb stall that saved my exam season. Orders grew. Li Wei did not have the biggest shop in Chengdu. He did not sell everything, but he had a clear identity, herbs and herbal teas, deep knowledge in one area, simple, reliable mixtures that people trusted. He had become, in his own way, the carp of his corner, the panda of his slope, the grandmother sparrow of his seeds. One night, after closing the stall, he walked again along the Jin River with his grandfather. "Gong Gong," he said, "I see now. Focus is not small. It is deep." Li Shun smiled. When the monkey jumps from branch to branch, the forest looks big and exciting. When the panda studies bamboo, the same forest becomes a map of food. Business is the same way. China is big. Markets are crowded. The question is not, how many things can you touch? It is, in which one river will you learn every current? Far away, on Qingcheng Mountain, Xiaoho the monkey was older now. He no longer tried to copy birds or fish. He had chosen one thing, mapping fruit trees along a single valley. He knew, almost to the day, when each tree would bear, how long fruit would last, which branches would bend low in storm. Animals began to seek him. "Xiaoho, where can I find ripe persimmons? Which fig trees still have fruit after the first frost?" They called him Ho Xiansheng, Mr. Monkey. In the deep pool below, Jin Yu's descendants still swam their corner each Dragon Boat festival, waiting for the dumplings. And in the paddies of Hongkou, young sparrows were taught by their elders. 2 seeds well carried are better than 10 dropped in the mud. Lessons learned. Curiosity without focus wastes strength. Like Xiaoho, jumping from skill to skill. A business that constantly chases new trends without mastering one core often ends up tired and empty. Deep knowledge of one river creates advantage. Jin Yu studied a single current until it fed him effortlessly. In business, studying one market, one customer type, or one product deeply can turn uncertainty into steady opportunity. Fewer seeds, carried well, create real profit. Xiao Ke the sparrow tried to carry 10 seeds and lost most of them. Many entrepreneurs try to sell 10 things poorly instead of 2 things excellently. Revenue is not about how many products you list, but how well you deliver a few. Focus looks risky at first and powerful later. Zhang Min and Li Wei both felt fear when they removed random items. At first, traffic dipped. In time, loyal customers and clear referrals grew. Focus compresses the short term and expands the long term. Hard times test shallow variety and reward deep focus. Drought and flood revealed who had merely played on the surface and who had mapped the depths. Economic downturns and market shifts do the same in business. Your niche is your bamboo slope, your river corner, your one field. For the panda, it was bamboo. For the carp, a current. For Li Wei, herbs. Ask yourself, what is my one thing that I will know better than anyone around me? True strength is quiet, steady, and repeated. No animal in this story shouted as loudly as the monkey. The strongest ones were Shan, Jin Yu, Nai Nai, and eventually Li Wei. Simply did the same focused work every day until the world could not ignore them. If you feel like the monkey of Qingcheng, swinging from idea to idea, remember the Carp of Chengdu. Choose your river, learn its currents, then let your focus do, quietly and steadily, what distraction never can.